Hello there, here we are again. So, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how I made this amazing New Year social media um, flyer design or something, whatever you want to call it. So, we're creating something similar with exactly the same elements. It's simple and straightforward. So, let's jump right in. So I have a new document here, and I'll start by typing in my text. So I go to the type tool, and I'll come here, click, and what are we going to type now? Okay, let's say 2023. Um, you can scale it up to whatever size you want. You can press Ctrl T to activate the transform options, and scale it and position it right where you want it to be. So you can change the font. I prefer a long font like Delirium. Let's type in Delirium. Okay, here we have it. You can just position this right here and click enter. So now, how can we make it look like this? If you look closely, these are three layers of text, but two of those layers are just outlines. So we're going to duplicate our text into three layers. So you can either right click and go to duplicate layer and hit OK, and that's the first copy, and that means it's on top our original copy. So our original text. So if you bring it this way, you can change the color so you can differentiate it from the other one, at least before turning it to an outline. So I'll duplicate this again, duplicate layer. By the way, the shortcut for duplicating stuff in Photoshop is Ctrl J. So instead of trying to right click and go through that long process, you can just use the shortcut. Saves a lot of time. So what I'll do is I'll drag down this layer, the third copy, down here, and I'll turn it off and turn off the top one, so we have our original layer. So let's bring in our image. So as you see here, I already cut out this image and converted it to a smart object. So it's now a PNG basically. So if you have a PNG image or you have your own image, you can just cut it out. So we're going to drag this into the document. I'm going to place it here, and see now it fills the frame. So you can just Ctrl T and scale it down to whatever size you want it to be. I think this time let me use something like this. Yeah, nice. So just hit Ctrl 0 to return everything to the normal size. So let's centralize everything. I would also suggest that you bring in a ruler. If your ruler is not visible on your Photoshop, just click Ctrl R. So we have our rulers to guide us and help us position things rightly. So let's see, I love this the way it is. So let's go to the top layer, the top 2023. So now it's on top our subject. So what we're going to do is to first of all go to the effects option here, click it and go to stroke. So now you can select any color you want. So but basically I'd prefer white, and I'll reduce the stroke size. You can just click here and type 2 and hit OK. And now it's not looking like what we have here. So what do we do then? Come to the fill and take the fill all the way down to 0. I saw something nice. By the way, this looks really nice. You can just have something like this. Anyway, it depends on you, but to create exactly what we have, you can take it this way and maybe position it in place. Yeah, now we're getting there. We're getting there. So we still have the bottom layer. That's this one. So that's just it. You can change the color to any kind of color you like and position it the way you want. You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to nudge the your text. So now it somehow looks like a 3D text. Amazing. Just 3 layers of text. So this is already looking so nice, and we're almost done. What's left is you can type your by hitting T on your keyboard. You can activate the text tool, and you can just come and you can type your welcome. Oh, it's using that long font. Welcome. Change the font to something like Montserrat, or if you have Myriad Pro, and reduce the size to 18 is nice. So just take down the size a bit and bring it up here. You can hit Ctrl T, scale it down, bring it over here, scale it down, and you commit the transformation. So I might as well change the color. And now you should note one thing. When you bring you can select any color from what you have here. Once you bring out your mouse, it turns to this eyedropper tool over here. So you can pick the color from what you're working on. Ready. So I love this navy blue, and we'll continue with that. So now we haven't added our ribbons, and if you look here, you can see this light. You can also see this light from this place, and the ribbons as well. So I think we should start with the ribbons. So these are my ribbons. So I'll convert it to a smart object. I like doing that a lot, so that when I scale things down, it wouldn't lose quality. So you can hit Ctrl T, zoom out, so you can scale it down, then zoom back in. So we have this, and this is on top our lady right here. So I'm just going to take it down just below the image layer, and I'm going to change the blend mode to luminosity. I might as well go to filter and add a little motion blur to give it some motion. You can change the angle of the motion. Anyway, this is nice. Now it gives it some kind of motion. I think the distance is too much for a ribbon. A ribbon is light, so I think 8 is okay for me. So if you see here, the edges are not looking so nice. So I'm going to give this a mask. You can come here and click the mask icon, and then I'll select my brush tool and ensure that my foreground color is black. So I'll paint over the mask. You can right click and select your brush size, but to do it the other way, you can also hold the Alt button. It turns to this, but right click and drag left and right. You can increase the brush size, then up and down to increase or decrease the hardness. So I'm gonna just increase this a little bit and take the hardness down to 0. So I'll come and over here soften the edges of my ribbon so that it gives it a transition. Aha, we are making progress. Isn't it amazing? So now, if you look here, even on top of the lady, we've got this. And over here, what layer is that? What layer is that? What layer is that? What layer is that? That's this layer. Wow. So let's go back to this. So now if we would have to duplicate this layer. So I'll click Ctrl J on, I'll hit Ctrl J on my keyboard to duplicate it, and I'll drag this above the image layer. And so when I do this, I have this. It's nice, amazing, but I'd like to reduce the motion blur for this one to like 4 or 5. Hit OK, and then I'll go to if you love this blend mode, it's nice, it's okay, it's perfect, but for me I'd prefer to use screen. So now if you look closely, you'll see this, some of them are positioned in places that are not really so nice to me. So I'll just go to the mask, select my brush tool, zoom in, reduce the size, and then increase the hardness a bit to like 40, and then you see this one on top of her mouth. I'm gonna take it off, and maybe this one, and let's say this one. So I have, and let's just add this one to it. At least let's see her face clearly. 0, and maybe it's just too much. You can reduce the opacity a bit to like 75 or whatever, 74, anyone. That's what you do. So next, now let's look at what we have not done. So now you see she's looking bluish over here, and we have this kind of light that looks as though it's coming from behind. To achieve that, I used this image. You can see I downloaded these. So this is what I used. I used this. Where is it? Where are you? So if you look at this image with this light image with basically it's called a lens flare, on a black background. So when you change the blend mode to screen, let's just do it, you'll see what comes after that. So when I place it here, it doesn't look so nice, looks really weird. I'll hit OK, and first of all go to filter, then blur, and then Gaussian blur. Yeah, depends on how sharp or how soft I want the light to be. If I take it down, it becomes a hard light. That's what they call hard light. If I increase it, it becomes a soft light. Yeah, and I'll prefer a soft light. Maybe this is nice. You can set it according to your own preferences and choices. And I'll hit OK. And I'll change the blend mode to screen. Now it's looking too much. And I can increase that depending on what I want. I can increase that. Now it's becoming too highlighted, or too bright rather. So I can just decrease the opacity a bit to make it softer and softer. And I can take this behind. Yes, don't worry, we'll duplicate the layer. But if you like it like this, it's fine, it's not a problem, but I feel it's too much. So you see only this side has it. Then you can, to duplicate this, you can just position your cursor here and hold the Alt or Option button and drag over to the side. And now you've duplicated your layers. So we have both of these layers. So the light's coming from behind, so but it has to look realistic. Let's make it realistic by adding a little of that light in front of this nice looking lady right here. So I'll select my two layers by holding the Control button, and I'll hold the Alt button and drag this up. So that's another way of duplicating things. So with both of them selected, I will reduce the opacity to like 20 is fine. So without it, we have this. With it, we have this. Looks more realistic. Wow, amazing. And since we're using this kind of image, you can just maybe duplicate this again. Let's try something amazing. Maybe you can bring some down here to, and maybe increase the opacity, and maybe add some life. Wow. So if I turn this off, this is the before and this is after. So anyway, if you like it like this, you're good to go. But to maintain the brand consistency, I decided to make it this blue color, just to it was just a choice. Yeah. So but like this is nice, it's cool, it's fine. You can write every other thing, like I have Happy New Year. You can put this, you can put your logo, and then you're good to go. Or if you want to still increase the image, you can select it, Control T, scale it up if you like it like this. Anyhow, but this is just how the effect was created. Control Z. So this was how it was made. Then well, if you want to go further to make it like this, just select the image layer, this one. You go to Image, Adjustments, go to Hue and Saturation. You can also use the Hue and Saturation layer for this, but this makes it easier for me, so I won't have too many layers. So you can decrease this to whatever color you like. I'd like to use a color that fits with the lighting to make the image a little more warm. You can increase things, make things a lot more saturated, or make it black and white. Or I think something around here is nice and good to go. So this is the layer style. If I turn this off, this is the before and this is the after. Now we are good to go. Thank you for watching this tutorial. God bless you.